3,500 years ago, Egyptian physicians serving the pharaohs documented the most powerful gut healing system ever created. Not in a lab, not by a gastroenterologist, on a 20-meter medical scroll called the Ebers Papyrus, 1550 BCE. While you're spending a fortune on antacids and probiotic capsules that barely work, those physicians had already identified 15 specific gut remedies with pharmacological compounds that modern scientists have now confirmed work at the cellular level. Today, I'm walking you through all 15. And stay with me, because Remedy 6 was given daily to the workers who built the pyramids. Modern microbiome research just confirmed it does something to your gut bacteria that no supplement on the market can replicate. Before we dive in, hit subscribe. Every week on this channel, we cover real food as real medicine. No extreme diets, no miracle cures. Just natural nutrition backed by science. And today, that science is 3,500 years old. Remedy 1. Cumin. The Ebers Papyrus prescribed cumin for flatulence, bloating, and, in their words, pain of the belly. Healers ground it into powder and pressed it directly onto the abdomen. They didn't know why it worked. Modern phytochemistry does. Cumin contains cuminaldehyde, a natural antispasmodic. It relaxes the smooth muscles of your GI tract, releases trapped gas, and targets harmful gut bacteria, like Klebsiella pneumoniae, without touching your beneficial flora. That last part matters. Most pharmaceuticals can't say the same. How to use it today? Half a teaspoon of ground cumin in warm water after a meal. Or cook it into soups, stews, and rice, exactly as the Egyptians did. Cumin has been healing guts for 3,500 years. It's still working. Remedy 2. Coriander. Ancient Egyptian texts prescribed coriander specifically to cool the irritating effects of spicy food on the digestive system. Tea for stomach complaints, added to heavy meals to balance them out. The biochemistry backs this up perfectly. Coriander seeds are loaded with linalool, a terpene alcohol with anti-inflammatory and antibacterial properties. Clinical studies show it reduces the frequency and severity of abdominal spasms in IBS patients. It also triggers digestive enzyme secretion, meaning food breaks down faster, less fermentation happens in your lower intestine, and less gas builds up in the first place. How to use it today? Brew a teaspoon of coriander seeds in boiling water for 10 minutes. Strain. Drink after meals, or add fresh leaves to rich, heavy dishes, exactly as the Egyptians did. What they called cooling the belly, we now call reducing intestinal inflammation. Remedy 3. Caraway. This is the most direct gut remedy in the entire Ebers Papyrus. The text explicitly names caraway for soothing flatulence and stimulating digestion, and this practice never died. In Egypt today, caraway tea is still the standard home remedy for colic, indigestion, and bloating. Modern clinical trials put numbers to it. A double-blind study found 63% of participants using peppermint and caraway oil were completely pain-free after 4 weeks. The placebo group? 25%. Caraway works by increasing gastric juice production, promoting bile release, and acting as a direct antispasmodic through 2 active compounds, carvone and limonene. How to use it today? Lightly crush a teaspoon of caraway seeds to release the oils. Simmer in water for 5 to 7 minutes. Strain and drink warm after meals. The Egyptians' exact preparation, unchanged for 3,500 years. When Shakespeare mentioned caraway in Henry IV to aid digestion, he was quoting a tradition already 2,000 years old. Remedy 4. Fennel. Pharaonic medicine used fennel to prevent nausea and bloating after meals. The Ebers Papyrus calls it a comforter of the bowels, one of the most human descriptions you'll find in any ancient medical text. That comfort has a mechanism. Fennel contains anethole, a compound that mimics certain neurotransmitters, signaling the smooth muscle cells of your gut wall to relax. That relaxation directly moves gas and stool through. A clinical study found that combining fennel essential oil with curcumin significantly reduced abdominal pain and improved abdominal pain, and improved quality of life in patients with chronic digestive distress. How to use it today? Chew a small handful of fennel seeds after a meal, still common across India and the Mediterranean. or add fennel bulb to your cooking. Both work. The ancient Egyptians called it an aperitif. We call it clinically validated gut support. Remedy 5. Dill. The Ebers Papyrus prescribes dill for dyspepsia and to soothe the belly. But here's what's interesting. It wasn't treated as a separate remedy. It was added directly to soups and stews. Medicine built into the daily diet. That's exactly how we think about food as medicine today. Dill's volatile oils are antimicrobial, specifically targeting the gas-producing bacteria that cause that uncomfortable distension after meals. It has mild diuretic properties that reduce the water retention behind digestive bloating. And modern studies suggest dill may protect the gastric mucosa, the lining of your stomach, potentially reducing ulcer risk. How to use it today? Add fresh dill generously to salads, egg dishes, and soups, or brew the seeds as a tea. Either way, you're doing exactly what Egyptian cooks did 3,500 years ago, and for the same reasons. Remedy 6. Garlic. This is the one I teased at the start. Pay attention. Garlic wasn't just food in ancient Egypt. It was prescribed daily medicine. During the construction of the pyramids, workers received garlic every single day. The Ebers Papyrus documents it as a remedy to give vitality and strength, aid digestion, and eliminate bad spirits from the belly, almost certainly parasitic infections and harmful gut bacteria. Here's what makes garlic unlike anything else on this list. Its primary bioactive compound is allicin, released the moment you crush or chop a fresh clove. Allicin is a broad-spectrum antimicrobial. It targets harmful bacteria, fungi, and parasites, but it does not significantly disrupt your beneficial gut flora. Pharmaceutical antibiotics cannot make that claim. Garlic also contains inulin, a prebiotic fiber that directly feeds your bifidobacterium and lactobacillus, the bacteria linked to reduced inflammation, stronger immunity, and better mood. Research shows your gut microbiome begins shifting its population within 24 hours of introducing garlic. That's the overnight effect the ancient Egyptians were witnessing, without knowing the mechanism. How to use it today? Crush a fresh clove and let it sit for 10 minutes before eating raw or cooking. That sitting time allows allicin to fully form. Don't skip it. What the Egyptians called eliminating bad spirits from the belly, we now call antimicrobial gut microbiome modulation. Stop for a second. Every herb and spice I've covered so far, cumin, coriander, caraway, fennel, dill, garlic, is probably sitting in your kitchen right now, and it was already being used as precise gut medicine over 3,000 years ago. If that's hitting different, hit the like button. It gets this content in front of the people who need it most. And if you're not subscribed yet, do it now. Every week we go deeper into the science of food as medicine. 9 remedies left, and it gets more surprising from here. Remedy 7. Onion. Medical papyri specifically note onions for stabilizing the bowels and acting as a diuretic. The Egyptians weren't subtle about it. They ate them raw, in large quantities, every single day. Turns out, that was genius. Onions are one of the richest dietary sources of quercetin, a flavonoid that stabilizes mast cells in your gut lining, reducing allergic-type reactions to food. Like garlic, they're also packed with inulin, making them one of the most powerful natural prebiotics available. Eating raw onions daily was, as modern microbiome science now confirms, a highly effective way to maintain a robust, resilient gut ecosystem. How to use it today? Raw in salads and sandwiches, sautéed as a base for soups and stews. Simple, affordable, proven for 3,500 years. Remedy 8. Fenugreek. The Ebers Papyrus describes fenugreek as a remedy to cleanse the stomach and soothe the pancreas, used to reduce internal swelling and bring comfort to the midsection. Modern microbiome research has made this one of the most studied ancient gut remedies of all time. Here's why. Fenugreek seeds are dense with soluble fiber that acts as a potent prebiotic. When it reaches your colon, beneficial bacteria ferment it, producing short-chain fatty acids, including butyrate. Butyrate is the primary energy source for the cells lining your gut wall. It repairs the tight junctions that prevent leaky gut. Studies show fenugreek increases microbiome diversity and can begin reversing the dysbiosis caused by processed, low-fiber diets. How to use it today? A teaspoon of fenugreek seeds in warm water before meals, or cook it into curries, lentil dishes, and flatbreads, exactly as it's been used across Middle Eastern and Mediterranean kitchens for millennia. What the Egyptians called cleansing the stomach, we now call producing butyrate and repairing intestinal permeability. Remedy 9. Pomegranate. Ancient Egypt had a serious problem with intestinal parasites. Tapeworms were common, and their primary defense was the pomegranate tree. An infusion made from the root was strained and drunk to eradicate worms. Modern science confirms the brilliance of this. Pomegranate root and bark contain pelliterine, an alkaloid that targets the nervous system of tapeworms and intestinal helminths directly. It causes the worms to lose their grip on the intestinal wall and get expelled. This remedy was so effective, it remained a standard clinical treatment for parasitic infection into the mid-20th century. That's nearly 3,500 years of continuous use. For modern gut health, pomegranate juice and seeds are rich in elagitannins, compounds that reduce gut inflammation and positively modulate the microbiome. How to use it today? Eat the seeds regularly or drink the juice. Simple, powerful, anti-inflammatory. Remedy 10. Aloe vera. The Ebers Papyrus lists aloe vera for cleaning the digestive system and assisting bowel movement, particularly in chronic constipation and IBS. The Egyptians used it so extensively, it was imported from Eastern Africa specifically for its medicinal properties. Aloe works through two distinct mechanisms, and they do opposite things. First, anthraquinones, like aloin, act as stimulant laxatives. Second, complex polysaccharides and mucilage coat and protect irritated gut tissue with a soothing, anti-inflammatory effect. Recent research also suggests aloe vera reduces acid reflux symptoms by protecting the esophageal mucosa. Two mechanisms, one plant. The Egyptians used both. How to use it today? Look for food-grade aloe vera gel or juice, without aloin if you want the gut-soothing effect rather than the laxative one. Add it to smoothies or take it plain. Start small. Remedy 11. Myrrh. Myrrh was one of the most valuable substances in ancient Egypt, used in embalming, religious ritual, and medicine. For the gut specifically, the Ebers Papyrus prescribed it to stop diarrhea and as an antiseptic for internal infections. It works through two mechanisms. High tannin content gives it strong astringent properties, shrinking inflamed gut tissue and reducing excessive fluid secretion. Its resins contain potent antimicrobial and antifungal compounds that clear the pathogens behind infectious diarrhea. Modern research has confirmed myrrh's ability to support the healing of mucosal ulcers, validating its ancient role as a tissue-repairing agent. How to use it today? Myrrh tinctures and supplements are available in health food stores, particularly useful after travel, illness, or antibiotic use. Exactly the situations where your gut lining needs rebuilding fast. Remedy 12. Honey. The Egyptians used honey in nearly 500 of their prescriptions. For the gut specifically, it served three roles: natural antibiotic, stomach lining protectant, and delivery vehicle that enhanced the bioavailability of other remedies. The Ebers Papyrus even describes beer sediment mixed with honey as an early probiotic therapy for stomach ulcers. They had no concept of bacteria, but they were right. Raw honey contains hydrogen peroxide, antimicrobial peptides, and a low pH that inhibit harmful gut bacteria. It also contains prebiotics that feed your beneficial bacteria. Modern wound healing research has confirmed 6 distinct antimicrobial mechanisms in honey. 6. How to use it today? A teaspoon of raw honey in warm water with lemon or ginger first thing in the morning. One of the simplest, most evidence-backed gut rituals you can adopt. Remedy 13. Senna. Hieroglyphics depicting senna leaves have been found in Egyptian tombs dating to 4500 BCE. That makes it one of the oldest documented medicines in human history. The Ebers Papyrus used it as a powerful cathartic for severe constipation and to cleanse the body. Here's what makes senna remarkable. Its active compounds, sennicides, are not absorbed in the small intestine. They travel intact to the colon, where gut bacteria break them down into metabolites that stimulate peristalsis and increase water secretion. Bowel movement typically within 6 to 12 hours. Senna is still a primary ingredient in over-the-counter laxatives today, an unbroken pharmaceutical legacy spanning 6,500 years. Remedy 14, fermented grain, the first probiotic. This one might be the most remarkable of all 15. The Ebers Papyrus prescribes the sediment from fermented beer, the thick, yeasty layer at the bottom of the brewing vessel, to treat stomach ulcers and digestive ailments. The ancient Egyptians had zero concept of microorganisms, but they observed that this substance healed the belly, and they used it. That sediment was naturally rich in B vitamins, minerals, and live Saccharomyces cerevisiae, the exact same beneficial yeast used today in probiotic formulas for treating diarrhea and restoring gut microbiome balance after antibiotic use. But it goes deeper than one remedy. Their entire staple diet was fermented bread and thick, yeast-rich beer, naturally probiotic, high in fiber, diverse, remarkably close to what gut health experts recommend today. What the Egyptians called healing with fermentation, modern science calls probiotic therapy. They got there 3,500 years first. How to use it today? Sourdough bread, yogurt, kefir, kimchi, miso. You're already eating the Egyptian way, whether you know it or not. Remedy 15, medicinal clay, ochre. And here we are. Remedy 15. The Ebers Papyrus prescribes medicinal ochre clay for intestinal foulness, irritation, and what we'd now describe as toxic overload in the gut. Mixed with honey or beer, consumed directly. For centuries, this looked like primitive superstition. Then, modern geology and medical research revealed what was actually happening. Clays like smectite and attapulgite, which ochre contains, have a unique physical structure that allows them to absorb and trap toxins, harmful bacteria and viruses inside the gut, preventing absorption into the bloodstream. They also interact with the intestinal mucus layer, increasing its thickness and viscosity, reinforcing your body's natural physical barrier against pathogens. Then, a 2024 study from the University of Glasgow changed everything. Researchers analyzing an ancient clay remedy called Lemnian earth found significantly higher antibacterial activity than standard clays, and positive modulation of the gut microbiome in laboratory tests. The reason? A specific combination of clay minerals with beneficial fungi, a deliberate formulation. The ancient Egyptians weren't guessing. They were observing, and they were right. What the pharaohs called cleansing the foulness from the belly is now being studied as a next-generation gut therapy. So, all 15 remedies. Look at this list as a whole and notice something. Cumin, coriander, fennel, garlic, onion, fenugreek, honey. These aren't exotic, hard-to-find substances. They're the building blocks of Mediterranean and Middle Eastern cooking. The foods that, for thousands of years, have been the foundation of some of the healthiest gut microbiomes on the planet. The ancient Egyptians weren't practicing magic. They were practicing food as medicine. And what modern science is doing now, mapping the microbiome, studying butyrate production, testing anti-inflammatory compounds, is confirming what they already knew. The Ebers Papyrus was right, and your kitchen might already contain the remedy your gut has been waiting for. Knowing what to eat is only half the solution. The other half is knowing how to put it together in meals simple enough for a busy weekday and delicious enough to actually want. That's exactly why I built my cookbook. Practical recipes, natural ingredients, built around the same Mediterranean-style, plant-forward principles these ancient healers were already using. Think of it as the Ebers Papyrus, made practical for your modern kitchen. Link is in the description. If you made it to the end, you now know that gut medicine isn't new, complicated, or expensive. It's ancient, simple, and growing in your kitchen right now. Here's what I want from you. Hit the like button if this gave you something useful. Then drop a comment. Which remedy surprised you most? Team garlic? Team fenugreek? Or did Remedy 15 blow your mind? I read every single one. Not subscribed yet? Hit the button and ring the bell, because next week we go deeper into the science of food as medicine. You don't want to miss it. The pharaohs were right, your gut knows it, and now so do you.